Welcome to S&C's Networking Tutorials. I'm Chris.
And I'm Sean.
Today we're going to be talking about Windows Server 2008 installation, including DNS, DHCP, and file sharing setup. You will need the following equipment for this installation process: Alcatel switch, hardware for Server OS, Windows Server 2008 DVD, Windows Server 2008 license key, and internet access. Before you begin, you want to ensure that your system meets the following requirements. As we look at this chart found on the Microsoft website, we can see you need a computer with at least a single-core 1.4 GHz or dual-core 1.3 GHz processor, 512 MB of RAM, and 32 GB of disk space. Then you're going to want to check your system hardware. Here is a sample checklist that we've included to help you take an inventory of the hardware that you're installing Windows Server 2008 on. When taking inventory, it may be necessary to remove the computer cover and look inside to identify the components. You may also have to use product numbers to help you identify them. Search the manufacturer's website for more detailed information. To install Windows Server 2008, simply complete the following steps. On the Dell computer, press F12 to enter the boot menu. For other types of computers, watch the splash screen at the very beginning of startup to identify the correct key to press to enter the boot menu. Insert the Windows Server 2008 DVD into the DVD drive and select Boot from the CD or DVD drive in the menu. You will be prompted to press any key to boot from the installation disk. Throughout the installation process, you will see a number of prompts. At the first prompt, select the language to install as English, the time and currency format to be English Canadian, and the keyboard as US. Then press the next button. At the prompt, click Install Now. When asked which operating system you would like to install, choose Windows Server 2008 Standard Full Edition with x86 architecture. Click Next, and then thoroughly read the license terms, and then click I accept the license terms checkbox at the bottom. Then click Next once again. The installation then asks which type of installation you want. Click on Custom. At the next window, click on Disk 0 and click Drive Options. Delete all existing partitions and then click New to create a single partition on the disk. Accept the default size by clicking Apply to make the partition as large as possible. Then click on the newly created partition and click Format. Click Next to start the actual installation of the operating system. The installation process will take a few minutes. The server will restart by itself. Then it will prompt you to change the administrator password. Click OK. Then enter your password twice and click the arrow beside the password box. Then click OK again. This completes the installation of Windows Server 2008. When Windows Server 2008 boots for the first time, you will be asked to set your network location. Select Work. And click Close on the following screen. The initial configuration task window will open up by itself. Proceed through the tasks in order to ensure that you do not miss a step. The first task is to provide computer information. First, click on Set Time Zone. Then, click on Change Time Zone. This will bring up a large list of time zones. For our server, we selected Mountain Time. Click OK. Double check that the time and date are correct and modify them if necessary. Then click OK to close the date and time window. Next, we click on Configure Networking. Right-click on any unused network connections and select Disable from the drop-down menu. Then, right-click on the local area connection that has a connection and click on Properties. This brings up the Local Area Connection Properties window. Uncheck Internet Protocol version 6. Select Internet Protocol version 4, then click on Properties. Make sure to set each of the lines with the appropriate information. The IP address will be the address of the server, and put in an appropriate subnet mask. Then set the gateway address the same as the previously configured switch. In our case, that is 192.168.25.254. Set the preferred DNS server to be the primary domain controller, which is 192.168.181.50. Once this is complete, press OK. Then press Close to end the local area connection configuration. Back in the initial configuration task window, click on Provide Computer Name and Domain. This brings up the System Properties window and the Computer Name tab. Click on Change to modify the system name. Enter a meaningful computer name and workgroup, then click OK. Click OK on the next two prompts. Click the Close button on the System Properties window. Click Restart Now to apply the changes and reboot the server. Once the server has completed its reboot, log in, and the initial configuration task screen pops up again. Click on Enable Automatic Updating and Feedback in the Update This Server part of the window. Click the button that says Enable Windows Automatic Updating and Feedback. This will bring you back to the initial configuration task screen. Find the part that says Download and Install Updates and click on it. When the option comes up, click on Install Updates. During the update, you may be prompted regarding various agreements or programs. Accept them all. Most of the time when the updates are finished installing, you are prompted to click Restart Now, which will restart the computer. After the restart, log in again and repeat the update process until there are no more important updates for the server. Once the updates are completed, we can move on to the third and final stage of initial configuration tasks. Customize this server. When you are logged on, the initial configuration task screen will pop up again. This time, click on Add Roles, found in the Customize this Server section of the window. A Before You Begin screen will come up. Check the box inside Skip this page by default, and then click Next. This will bring up a list of server roles. Click on DNS Server and then click Next. This brings up an Introduction to DNS Server page. Click on the Next button to proceed. The Confirm Installation Selections window comes up next. This provides a review of the selections made. Click on Install to begin the installation of DNS Server role. Once the installation is complete, click on the Close button. To configure the DNS server, open the Start menu. Click on DNS that is found in Administrative Tools. Under the heading DNS, right-click on the server and click on Properties. Click on the Forwarders tab in the Server Properties window and click on Edit. Click under the heading of IP address and type in the address of the primary domain controller. In this case, it is 192.168.181.50. This is not the address of the server itself. Press Enter to confirm the setting. Then press OK to close the Edit Forwarders window. Click OK again to close Server Properties, then close DNS Manager. In Server Manager, click on Add Role. Then we're going to be adding DHCP to this. Click on DHCP Server, then Next. This screen describes the DHCP server. Click Next to continue. There should only be one IP address that shows up on the Select Network Connection Bindings window. Make sure the checkbox beside it is checked, then click Next. The next requirement is to specify IPv4 DNS server settings. The parent domain in our case is network 5769.local. The preferred DNS server IPv4 address should be the IP address of the server you are working on. Fill in the alternate DNS server to be the primary domain controller, which is 192.168.181.50 in our case. Once this information is filled in, press Next. This screen asks for WINS server settings, but WINS is not required for applications on this network, so check the appropriate box and click Next. The DHCP scope window opens up next. There are no scopes listed, so click on the Add button. Call the scope the network name 192.168.25.0. Set the starting IP address at 192.168.25.5 and the ending IP address at 192.168.25.25. The subnet mask for this Class C network is 255.255.255.0, and the default gateway is the IP address of the switch 192.168.25.254. Leave the subnet type as wired and make sure the box is checked to activate the scope. Double-check the information is correct and press OK. This brings you back to the Add or Edit DHCP Scopes window. Click Next to continue. Our network is entirely IPv4, disable DHCP v6 stateless mode for this server on this screen and click Next. Read through the settings on the Confirm Installation Selections window and click Install. Once the DHCP has successfully been installed, click Close. We do not need to add any server features to our server, so click on Enable Remote Desktop. Clicking on Allow Connections from computer running any version of Remote Desktop will bring up a warning message. Click OK to close the message. Click OK to close System Properties. The initial configuration tasks are complete. Click on the Do Not Show This Screen at Login to prevent this screen from appearing on reboot, then close it. Click on the picture of the computer beside the Start menu to open Server Manager. Scroll down to the section called Security Information and click on Go to Windows Firewall. Click on Properties on the right-hand column of the screen. For each of the Domain, Private, and Public Profile tabs, set the firewall state to Off. When you have changed the three settings, press OK to close the window. Click on Server Manager at the top of the left-hand column, then scroll down to Security Information again. Click on Configure IE/ESC, which is short for Internet Explorer Enhanced Security Configuration. Turn IE/SEC off for both administrators and users, then click OK. Close the Server Manager. To begin, click on Start. Right-click on Computer and click on Properties. Click on Device Manager in the upper left-hand corner of the window. Look for the devices listed under the Other Devices category that have yellow bubbles with a black exclamation mark in them. Windows Server was unable to find drivers for these devices. You need to identify which components do not have drivers, then try to find them on the Internet. For our server, we went to the manufacturer's website and downloaded the drivers for our hardware. It is extremely important to check if the drivers are compatible with Windows Server 2008 before installing them. You will know all of your devices are installed correctly once your device manager has no exclamation marks on devices. Once this is the case, close the device manager. While in the System window, scroll down to the bottom and click Change Product Key. Enter the activation code for Windows Server Standard 2000 and click Next. The server will send a request for activation over the Internet. You will receive a message if the activation was successful. If not, click back and double-check that you entered the product key correctly. To begin creating a network share, click on the Start menu, then on Computer. Double-click on Local Disk C. Right-click on the white space under the files and select New, then Folder from the menu. Type in the name of the folder Shared, then press Enter. Then right-click on the newly created folder and click on Properties. In the Shared Properties window, click on the Sharing tab. Click on the button that says Share. This brings up the File Sharing window. Click on the drop-down menu and select Everyone from the list. Press the Add button. Click the down arrow in line with Everyone. Select Co-Owner from the menu, then click Share. The window shows the folder as a share. Click Done. Click Close on the Shared Properties tab. Click on the Start menu, then on Control Panel. Once this is opened up, click on the Network and Sharing Center icon. Click on the down arrow in line with Password Protected Sharing. Click on the radio button to turn off Password Protected Sharing and press Apply. To test the shared folder, boot up a Windows workstation connected to the server and click on Start, then Computer. In the address bar, type // /server name /shared. If configured correctly, you should be able to see the shared drive on the server. This brings an end to configuring Windows Server 2008. Thanks for watching.